So, after making videos about minimalism for a year now, I realized some of you guys who watched my video are still new to minimalism or want to start a minimalist life. And I've received questions from you guys asking, how can I start to live as a minimalist? Or what are some of the advice I'll give to a minimalist beginner? So today's video will be all about that, and I hope this can help you get started. So let us start with the first. Minimalism always emphasizes on the importance of intentionality, and there's nothing as intentional as knowing the purpose behind your decision to start a minimalist lifestyle. The purpose of starting minimalism could be to save more money instead of spending it on redundant wants, or to have lesser things to stress about and dedicate more time on things you value. Or maybe you want to minimize your distractions in order to achieve extreme productivity. So what's the reason why you want to have less, and what are the things that you want to have more? Knowing why you want to become a minimalist is a good way for you to start minimalism. In fact, it's the best way for us to do anything. It's the purpose behind the action that is pushing us forward, even when the thing seems tough or when we are running out of motivation. It allows us to identify different ways to use minimalism as a tool instead of following it as a trend. After knowing the why, naturally, the how-to will come next. Most of the time, how we are exposed to minimalism is through word of mouth, from the internet, or maybe this is the first time you heard about it. How minimalism works can vary from people to people because we are all different, but we can always find ways to make it suit our lifestyle. By going in depth with minimalism, that allows us to know how it works and how we can execute it based on our occupation and lifestyle. Also, getting inspired is another way for us to push ourselves forward. If you don't have anyone in your life that can inspire you to live a minimalist life, there are a lot of people on the internet. There are tons of awesome minimalists out there that can inspire you. On a serious note, I'll leave those minimalists who inspired me throughout my minimalism journey down in the description below. And other than videos on YouTube, there are books, blogs, and podcasts that can inspire us. So choose the medium that can suit you well. There are guidelines like the wait for it rule. If the item costs more than $30, wait for 30 hours before we make the decision to purchase, so that we can curb our impulsive buy. I've made a few videos on those guidelines. You can check it out after this. Some might call them rules, while others think there's no rule in minimalism, and I agree with that, because there's no fixed way on how we can live a minimalist lifestyle. This is not Fight Club. I see those guidelines as a training wheels to teach us how to ride a minimalist bicycle when we are still new to it. It helps us to find balance and keep us on track. Minimalism isn't all about decluttering, but it's an essential step for us to take when we are starting minimalism. Because most of our homes are cluttered with tons and tons of things. So, the first step of keeping what we own intentional is by removing items that serve no value to us. Also, remember to take your time to think if they should be removed from your life. You wouldn't want to declutter things that you will regret. You can try out different challenges that can make the decluttering process enjoyable. That's the minimalism game. Removing one item on the first day, 2 on the second, 3 on the third, all the way to day 30. And by then, you will have removed 465 items. That's a good way for us to build the momentum of decluttering. Or you can take it slow by removing one item for 100 days. Try it out and see what fits you. It's essential for us to know how we are going to treat the things we have decluttered. Most of the time, there are things that can still bring value to others. I have these 5 steps I'll follow whenever I declutter my stuff. First, try to sell them. You might be able to get some cash back even when you are removing stuff, so it's a win-win situation. Give or donate it to others if they can still receive benefits. Upcycle if the material is still usable. Recycle if it's not. Trash it if it can't be recycled. These 2 steps require some time to research, especially the donation organization, on what can be recycled. Meanwhile, you can sort out those decluttered items into boxes segregated based on how you are going to treat them. One point to take note here is not to look back at those boxes once you have decluttered it, in order to prevent it from coming back into our lives again. There's no specific amount of items you can own in order to classify yourself as a minimalist. That being said, there's no need for us to rush to get there. And in fact, there's no destination to begin with. We all have different ways to declutter our stuff. If you can't do the extreme and let go half of your possessions, it's always fine to take our minimalism journey slow. Start with the easy things. You can always find faulty or damaged items, just in case items, and also duplicates. There's no need for you to go straight into sentimental items that have tons and tons of meaning behind it. So pull yourself back and take it slow. You might want to start with the room you use the most because that's where you can see the impact and benefits of decluttering. If you are living with non-minimalists, I know the process can be challenging, but what you need to know is start with yourself first. What you do might lead them by example and maybe inspire them to become a minimalist as well. If not, try to be understanding. We can always agree to disagree and coexist under the same roof. Temptation can bring us back to square one if we are not careful with it. It will put our decluttering effort into waste if we still decided to bring in unnecessary things back into our lives. We have to identify what's our trigger, what makes us want to buy more. If using Instagram makes you want to buy more, maybe go for a 30 days social media detox. If looking at sale and promotion makes you want to go for a random shopping spree, limit yourself from buying anything for a week or a month except for daily essentials. For me, I'm still tempted by the things I see. My temptation is always triggered by the videos I watched on YouTube. Whether is it fashion, desk setup, camera gears. Whenever I realize the trigger, I'll try my best to remove them. If you can identify triggers, avoid the triggers. Most of us are fortunate to have more than enough. We have sufficient things that can keep us alive and maintain our standard of living. Being grateful for what we already have allows us to fight the temptation of wanting the fanciest, the latest, just to be better than the Joneses. We also will realize that we don't have to own something just because it's new. Having limitations and challenges is a good way to guide us towards an intentional life. But if those limitations and challenges seem to affect our happiness, you might want to take a step back and not rush things out. Take the time to figure out how minimalism can fit into your life instead of changing your whole life just to fit into this label, minimalist. Sometimes I'll receive questions asking me if they should remove their collection, or the equipment for their hobby, or the tools they need to use to make a living. And my honest answer is, I don't have the right to help you with that. No one does, except for yourself. You have to judge it on your own. Does this particular collection or equipment bring you value? If no, there it goes. If yes, keep it by all means. I think a lot of people have the misconception that minimalism is about self-deprivation or remove everything you own. I mean, I don't blame them because we absorb what we see on the internet. But what's crucial here is to build a minimalist lifestyle for ourselves, not for the people on the internet. Like the guidelines, the tips I've mentioned are just training wheels that get us started. The fact that minimalism can mean differently from one person to another makes it impossible for us to have a standardized way of living a minimalist life. So, once you have the momentum and understand how minimalism can bring value to your life, feel free to pluck out those training wheels and create your own way to live a minimalist and meaningful life. So these are the tips I'll give to someone who just started minimalism. But after working on this video, I realized that these tips are still helpful to those who started minimalism for quite a while. It can act as a recap or a reminder, and act as a guide for those who are still new to minimalism. Regardless, I hope this can help you to understand more about minimalism and get you started. If you are interested in learning more, you can check out my channel. That's where I post not just minimalism, but also self-development content over there. I don't know when's the next time my videos can reach you, and if you are interested in my future content, you can always subscribe to this channel. And if you would like to support this channel, you can always help me with the like button. That can help a lot with the algorithm. Or follow me on my Instagram, I'll keep you guys updated. I have a Patreon page as well. This is where you can support this channel monetarily. I truly appreciate that. Like always, I'm extremely grateful for you to watch all the way to the end. Thanks for watching this, and I'll see you guys again next week.